guys, Tom Morrison here, and would you like to be able to do these? Of course you would. They look really cool. They're called handstand push-ups, and we're going to show you how to get your very first one. The very first thing you need is a solid push-up position. So if you can't do push-ups like this just for funsies, if you dread the thought of even doing a push-up, I am sorry, but that is where you need to start. If you don't have a solid push-up and you can't do them slow and controlled with tempo, then you're not quite ready to start changing the angles and stuff. Work here first, get the arms nice and strong, get the core nice and strong before you'd want to start to play around with this stuff here. So very first progression we're going to start to use is a bar push-up negative. So what Jenny's going to do is put her hands on the floor, make sure the mat is ever so slightly in front of her hands, because that's where you're going to want to be putting your head. She's then going to put her bum up in the air as high as she physically can and get as little weight into her toesies as she can. Then from there, she makes sure she feels the hands, and then she tilts her entire body forward and starts to lower herself down really slowly, so her head comes in front of her hands ever so slightly. See how she's shaking here? She's putting effort in. She puts her head in the pillow. She keeps tension in the bottom. She's still shaking here. She's still working hard. And then she just brings the knees down and relaxes and pushes herself back up and resets for her next rep. This may feel incredibly boring to you, it may not look very exciting, but this is how you're going to build strength. This is how you're going to build control as well. So the time that it's taking you to do this one single push-up each time, everything's shaking, everything's getting stronger, everything's fighting for position. So it's going to carry over much better whenever you are able to actually do the reps. You're going to feel a lot stronger when you're able to do faster reps like this. So this is your first standpoint. So make sure, if we give Jenny a break for a second, because they are still quite challenging. Even I still find them quite challenging when you go nice and slow. You want to do them so that you feel like you can even lift your feet off the ground if that would so happen. So after you've got the hang of that, you can then start to try and do the full rep. So what Jenny's going to do now is she's going to push back out of the position too. So keep it nice and slow as well. Remember, we're trying to build strength. We're not trying to build the reps just yet. Nice and slow, tap the head at the bottom, push back up, and make sure you always go back to this full position here, okay? And then she brings herself down. So watch that torso position. So see how she starts to come forward first, and then as she pushes back up, then she gets to the finished position. What you don't want to end up doing is just doing push-ups where your head goes between your hands and your elbows are flaring out to the side and you're not actually coming back up into that full position. So you're only doing partial ranges there. It's not going to carry over that well. So make sure that you're getting that forward lean of the torso, and you tap the head nice and gently, and then we press ourselves back up. And then give Jenny another wee rest for a second. From there, when you're getting really good at those, so you can do at least, I would say, let's go for 6 reps, okay? So make sure you got really good confidence with that drill first of all. Then you can start to make it a little bit harder again by elevating the feet. So now you're going to be at a more L-shaped angle, which is going to put more body weight through your shoulders, and it's going to give you more of the idea of where your shoulders are going to be whenever you're against the wall. From there, same sort of idea, bring the head forward a little bit, tap the head nice and gently, and push back through. Now Jenny has her legs nice and straight here. She's got good flexible hamstrings. If you need to, you can bend the knees. Just make sure that you're coming through to that top point each time. So you're pushing yourself through, everything's nice and stacked, and then bring yourself back down nice and slowly. So when you can start to rep these out, you're well on your way to starting to get the strength for your full handstand push-up. Once you have built your foundational strength, you want to make sure that you can actually kick up to the wall. Make sure to check out Jenny's How to Kick Up to a Wall Handstand video. We'll put the link in the comments. Make sure you check that out so that you're getting a really solid kick up. So you want to make sure that you're confident with that first before you would actually start to lower yourself down. Now we're just going to start through the progressions again in the exact same way, just different. So remember, when you're upside down, you're 70% more stupid. So take your time. Jenny's going to kick herself up. She's going to lock out the shoulders, make sure she's nice and stable first of all. We have a pillow under her head. We also have the pillow elevated onto a stable surface. She's then going to lower herself down as slow as she can until she feels that the top of her head is touched, and then from there she just brings herself back down off the wall again. Okay, so that's all you're going to do to start off. See, can you do that with control? If you unlock your arms and just go straight down to the pillow really fast, then just bring yourself back down. Don't tilt your head like that whenever you're doing it. You're coming down to the top of your head, okay? You're not looking to face plant yourself, okay? So if you can't control that, stick with the other drills until you've got the hang of them first. You can still practice the kick up by all means. This is more just locked out straight arm strength. It's absolutely fine. When you start to bend those elbows, it starts to get a lot harder from there. So now you are taking the full force of your body weight as well. So if you are particularly heavy and jacked, you may find this is a lot harder than you thought it would be at the start. So like I said, just be careful, take your time. If it feels too hard for you, swallow that ego pill and just stick with the other progressions, okay? If you're confident enough of that, and then you can start to play around. So take away the plate now, see how low you're able to get down with that actual control in your actual movement. So you're going to kick yourself up. There we go, make sure that plate's staying where it's supposed to stay. There we go, and then we're going to lower ourselves down with control. Tap the head nice and slowly, and then bring the feet back down. And then you could kick up again and start your rep. If you could feel like you could do a set of 3 here or a set of 5, kicking up every time in a row, that's great. If you feel like in between each rep you needed to take a rest, which you may find at the start, especially if you are going nice and slow, absolutely fine as well. Figure out the way that you can feel strong in a position. You can start to figure out your reps from there, okay? So don't just hop up and say, I'm going to do 10, because you might not be able to get 10. So make sure the reps are always good quality, slow and controlled reps. Whenever you get the hang of that, then you could take the pillow away. Just make sure you've got something nice and soft to actually put underneath your head, because you don't be banging your head off the floor. And then over time as well, you can start to bring the surface here so that you're actually going to the top of your head instead of finishing just shy like we are at the minute. So it just depends what you have around, okay? So build that up over time, and then you're going to have your full handstand push-up, and then you bring back your plate, you start again at the top, and you're going to be able to start trying to do the actual part of the rep where you have to push again to get yourself back up. So make sure you can tap just with control and then bring yourself up. So now you're doing partial ranges, and then it's just a case of over time going a little bit lower each time, seeing if you can still control the movement, and then you're going to be able to start to work your way down to the floor, and then hunky-dory, you've got your first handstand push-up. Takes time, but stick with these progressions, build them into your warm-ups, your cool-downs, practice them as often as you can. You're not going to burn yourself out from practicing too many of the progressions. If you're going full out, whenever you start to get good at something, that's when you can start to burn yourself out. And if you're sticking with the progressions that work quite well for you, you'll be absolutely fine to practice it as regularly as you like. And the more practice you get, the faster you're going to get them. Okay, guys?